And there we go, live on YouTube. There we go. All good. All is working. Good morning, America. It's been a minute. It's good to be here with you. It's good to be here with you. Right. Let's have a look. So, my money arrived, bank transfer, and then I had a short position in the DAX, as I repeatedly alluded to during the morning session. If we trade at 696, I would want to be short, and so I did. My exit wasn't very good, but the entry was disciplined. The US market will open in approximately 10 seconds. Now, I'm just going to get my trading sizes set up and then we're good to go. So what was it that I argued that the trading size should be in the DAX? 10, Dow, 8. So let me just put that in here. 10. And FTSE. And Dow is going to be 4. That's modest, but okay. And the NASDAQ 6. There we go. Trading sizes are in. Now let me get rid of. Don't really need the FTSE here. Oh, in case any of you are curious why I wanted to short the DAX at 693, is because if you look at the school run bar, which is at 23,742, you see that here. Maybe I can do a little bit of wizardry here. There we go. So if I do it like this, then it should be nice and pretty. The school run bar is this one here, number 2, and it has a low. It's 742. Allow me just to type that in. 23,742. Actually, I'm not sure that is correct. I think yes, it is 742. What I calculated was, what is the how far can this decline before it tends to mean a continuation? At what point do the typical stop loss kick in? So through trial and error, so if I type in here 23,000, just call it 750, and I divide that by, so I get 0.2%, which is the same as divided by 500, I get 47. So if you just remember 47 and you type in 23,742 minus 40, let's just call it 48, and there's your 23,696,695. So there you go. There's just basically having gone through many charts, I concluded that this is the point where if I had been long, I would want to have a stop loss here, and at this point I would want to have a stop and reverse. So there you go. That's how I got to that. And then my target was the low end of the range. My exit was not particularly great, but it was a profit. The low was 54. I got out at 70. What, 71? 72? I don't know. 74, 76, 75. There we go. So let's have a look. NASDAQ strong. Dow went down to the low end of the trading range. The Dow filled the gap, excuse me, while the NASDAQ, well, nowhere near. So now it's just a question of waiting. And yeah, see what today brings. I'm just going to grab a phone 1 sec. So we got NASDAQ pushing higher, and we got Dow pushing lower. Got the FTSE in Europe making fresh lows on the morning, very much so. And we got DAX sitting comfortably in the middle. So now we just have to wait. If you're interested in seeing how the Dow, let's start with the NASDAQ, how the NASDAQ is looking. So this is the NASDAQ on a cash basis chart, where you just see Friday, and the NASDAQ has just traded up here. Let me just show you where it's trading. Currently trading at 23,000. It's been up here this morning. So this is a, oops, great. So this is the delayed chart. The subscription I have is a delayed because I don't use it for real time. My broker provides the real time. I use this for research. So this is where the NASDAQ is right now, and NASDAQ is trading now, right now. Well, moments ago, traded at 762. And how does that look on the daily chart? It is up here. Hourly chart, up here. So we imagine that the NASDAQ is attack 24,000. And the Dow? Well, the Dow is, I don't have a cash chart of the Dow, but I have a futures chart, but it's a little different. So I just need to see what the correlation is. So the high on the cash market on Friday was 45,775. Let's put that over here, and this one is 45,832. So whatever I see the Dow is, I'll have to add about 50 points. Well, the Dow right now is trading at 45,300. Let me show you what that is on the cash chart. So there's 45,300. So I add 50. So this is where the Dow is trading right now relative to, actually, let me just make that a little easier to understand. I'll put it in on a cash chart only. And let me put in 43,50. So you can see how the NASDAQ is trading back up at the high end, and the Dow is trading down towards the low end of the range from Friday. So there you go. So this is the Dow on a futures chart, but this is where the cash markets say the futures market is. So it'll probably be We're at 3.3, so it'll be 380. So it'll be around here at the moment. And this is where, nope, sorry, wrong chart. And this is where the NASDAQ is. So the NASDAQ is near the highs of Friday's open. And the Dow is closer to the lows of the day. So that was the first 15 minutes. So I could be tempted to be a buyer below in the Dow, down at 305. So please stand by. I'm buying the Dow here below prior bar low on a 15-minute chart. Let me just get this thing up and running here. $45,291 entry. I'm going to use an 80-point stop loss for now. 45, 211 is my stop loss. And what I did was here, I looked at the 5-minute chart and decided I want to be a buyer below these two lows here and bar number 3, which coincided with a low, a trade below the prior bar 15-minute low at 305. I'm currently 2-3 points offside. And this is what it looks like on my trading account. My entry is at 291. The low of the Dow so far is 274, which is about the evening low, the secondary low in the Dow on Friday. NASDAQ so far is unable to gain traction above 23,800. Dow is seeing some buyers below this low or around this low. And here. My stop loss is down here. So I'm going to move my stop loss up a little bit. I'm currently 50 points in profit. I'm adding to the Dow here. Added to the Dow at 344. Stop loss at 264. Oh, don't want it to do it on this. I'll do it here. NASDAQ is pushing above. I was curious to see if there was any sellers above 800 in the NASDAQ. There was. And my Dow position is going against me. And on the average, I'm just about break even. My stop loss is currently at 264 and 211. What I'm going to do is get rid of these lines here. There we go. So we can see them better. So my original entry is just about break even. And my second entry is underwater. So where I added to my position was just above the high of the prior bar, and you can see so clearly that that was the point where sellers decided, nah, I'm going to sell that. So I had an opinion, they had a different one, and well, it's fair to say that they're the ones running away with the price for now. Let me just show you my account. There's my overall stake size. We're coming up to the completion of the first 30 minutes. I'm doubling up on the Dow. I'm taking profit in the Dow. Just bear with me 1 second. Just going to take a 2-minute break until the completion of the second 15-minute chart. There's the score. My entry is 291, 344, 345, and exit at 358. So I'm back. there's on Telegram, I made a screenshot of my trade. It looks like this. Posted it for transparency on Telegram. I'd like to show you the FTSE chart. Interesting to see how weak it is. Here's a 30-minute chart of the FTSE. I suppose, I wonder if buyers are going to step up below 9196. So we got a few seconds left before the completion of the second 15-minute candle. And right now it points to a long position above 371 and a short below 274. And this price you're seeing here was the closing price of Friday. Let me remove that. Marcus, I could see you have asked me a question about the e-signal charting package. I use a delayed charting package. In case you're curious, I use a delayed charting package on e-signal, and I believe it is called, well, it's called their legacy option, which is the 10.6. And I pay approximately $100 a month for this. And that gives me data. And that is just where I test my stuff. I don't use it for trading at all. But it's a good question that you asked. So I thought I'd just Now, some of you no doubt will wonder, why did I get out where I got out on a 5-minute chart? And the answer was that we were approaching, if you look at my exit, time-wise my exit was approximately just 50 seconds after the completion of the last 5-minute bar, or in the beginning. And what you often see, do you see this bar here, bar number 5? Bar number 5 is the one that completes at 55 minutes past. And so you'll notice that I got out at 55 minutes and 50 seconds, 50 seconds after that? Well, there's a reason for that. The reason is that when I see a bar like this, I don't know. So whenever I say I know, please take that with a pinch of salt, because I don't have, well, I was going to try and be funny now. I don't know what's going to happen in the future any more than anyone else. And I don't want to somehow give an aura of, oh, I know what's going to happen, because that is not what I'm trying to promote in this channel. I'm trying to promote good trading, aggressive trading, mechanical trading, clinical trading, and aggressive when the mood warrants it. But when I see a bar like this, just focusing on bar number 5 will frequently have people prompting, oh, we have 2 or 3 bullish bars here. A low has probably been made. I want to be a buyer here. And I too, but because I already had 2 positions, one from the same place and the other one from lower down, I felt that being 300% long in a market that was just about to print its second 15-minute chart was, the market at this point hasn't proven that it wants to move higher. Not on my preferred 15-minute scale, but on a 5-minute, I felt that if I bought here, there would be a good chance that I could get out at a slightly better price. And slightly better is the operative word here. I bought at 45 and I got out just 10 or so points more. So hardly a barnstormer of a trade, but nevertheless, just good conservative reading of the charts, nothing more. Why didn't I stay in? Well, because I was looking forward to the completion of the second 15-minute bar, and with the first one being as negative as it is and taking place below the overnight range, I am perhaps more inclined to sell above here or sell short here. Undecided right now. Another thing that is occupying my mind today is the fact that the NASDAQ is so strong and the NASDAQ is so strong and the Dow is so weak. What I mean by that is that here's the closing price of the NASDAQ, and we are way above the closing price on Friday. But in the Dow, we are trading below the closing price. So, cross currents, if you like. I'm not saying that it's easier to trade one market or another. It just depends on what you are trained for. Excuse me. Have a little bit of a chest thingamajig. As I explained earlier today in the European session, I have done a water fast, and perhaps a little foolishly, I was also doing cold water therapy, or what they call contrast therapy, whilst fasting. And I think my poor body kind of met its limit a little bit there. At the time I felt fine, but afterwards I woke up with a really thick throat and thick chest. Did you know that if you feel like that, boil a little bit of hot water, pour it in a cup with a good tablespoonful of salt, dilute it tiny little bit, and then gargle it. Gargle the salt if you have a really sore throat. Make sure you don't swallow. Don't swallow. Because then you'll be in trouble. Please don't swallow. Gargle it around, but don't gargle the boiling hot water. But as warm as you can stand it, and then rinse afterwards. I woke up in the middle of the night and I had the mother of sore throats. So made myself a cup of tea with some lemon, and then I gargled in salt water. You know, proper Celtic sea salt water, ladies and gentlemen. Not of that refined table crap. And whilst I would love to be able to report that I woke up a few hours later, fresh as Superman, no, I did not. But I didn't have a thick throat either. It certainly did help. So there you go. So school run is going to trigger a long here at 371. I'm not going to take that long position. And the reason being is I got a negative bar, another negative bar. The school run itself is a negative bar. And I would imagine that there would be sellers above 371, considering that we are trading below the opening, or sorry, below the close on Friday, and we are below the overnight range. So rather I would just take a deep breath and see if I perhaps could place a short trade. If I used a stop loss of say 0.2%, then my stop loss would be 91 points. It's a bit of a chunky stop loss, so I may just reduce my stake size if I do decide to implement a short position. But for the time being, I'll just watch. I made good money already, so I don't need to squeeze it, unless of course I feel like squeezing it. So there you go. You know what we could do for laughs? So I could take a minimum position in school run at say just as a reference point. So as a reference point, my traditional school run long has been triggered, and I just wanted to put this in as a reference point, not because I want to have a full stake size trade, but I wanted it as a reference point because I actually wanted to sell short. I should have a stop loss somewhere. I'll put that stop loss. Right. That's better. I'm not going to post this on Telegram. Not that it doesn't count. It's not about whether it counts or not. It's just because I'm doing this as a reference point trade. Because I wanted to be short above. But I was hoping to be able to sell full size closer to the upper end of the range. But now I just traded, what would that be? 12% of my normal stake size. We'll see. Interesting to see how, if I had shorted, I would be 40 points on the right side. This is what it looks like on my account. NASDAQ is not doing anything. Maybe I did that the wrong way around. Maybe I should have sold short, but in half a size, and have that as a reference point. Maybe I'm a bit arse about. NASDAQ is trading well above the overnight range. Bar number 2 is the school run bar. Bar number 3 could also be a reference point to a buy. So maybe be buyer in the NASDAQ below 791 or 780 in this area here. Okay, so just bear that in mind. This is what we call the anti. Not the Antichrist, just the anti. Without having looked, I suppose the Antichrist is what? The devil? The Antichrist is a figure described in Christian eschatology, end times belief, as a powerful opponent of Jesus Christ prophesied to appear before the second coming. While the term is found in the New Testament, it comes from the beast of the sea, Revelation, and little horn, blah 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 blah. Right. Okay. Oh, notice that. See that? See how the bar number 4 just sniffed below bar number 3? Oh, while I was busy with the Antichrist, we may just have missed an opportunity. Or maybe you were focused while I was focusing on, what was it called again? In end of times. Stand by in the NASDAQ. Stand by. Stand by. Buying the NASDAQ here. Oop. Long NASDAQ at 775. Sorry, 777. So I'm attempting to buy below bar 7 and bar 4 on a 5-minute, which will coincide with approximately bar 2 on a 5-minute chart. Sorry, 15-minute chart, school run. My stop loss is way down here. I can move that up in a second, and I intend to. Move my stop loss to 28. Stand by on the Dow for a long position. Move my stop loss in the NASDAQ to 62. I'm just gonna. Oh, there's the Dow. I'm gonna close half my NASDAQ, and I'm gonna screw it. I'm just gonna take all the NASDAQ. Didn't really want to trade that. See if I can make some of this Dow instead. Nothing wrong with the NASDAQ. I don't know, didn't like the look of it. There's the transaction. Bought at 77, out at 84. Let's look at the Dow. So my little teaser position is there momentarily was in profit by 10 points. Momentarily. But I had this idea that I actually wanted to be long now and add to the position. I think I may need to just cut down the trading size in the NASDAQ just yet until I get used to the NASDAQ. NASDAQ does move a bit quicker. So a quick round around the world. FTSE 30-minute chart. We seem to be comfortably holding below 9,200. The DAX, slightly different story. Had a short position earlier. Very nice retracement, and ever since the US Open, largely range-bound overlapping bars. NASDAQ, very strong. First retracement got bought up, triggered a school run short. I decided to be a buyer instead. Bought a 77, went as low as 70, and now it's seemed comfortable in pushing higher again. But I was trading too big for what I on this particular day. And then Dow with my stupid little it's not even a half a size, because my ultimate size was 12 pounds a point, and now I'm it's like I don't even know how to explain, it's like a teaser position. This idea of just keep an eye on it. So we're just coming up to the first hour. That was a chicken shit exit on my part in the NASDAQ. Once I'd taken half profit, my nervous system said, "Oh, get rid of the rest of it. You don't really want to ruin a bad morning." Right. So I'm going to wait a couple of minutes and see where the Dow is then, and then decide whether I want to add to it. I'm here. Just trying to decide what's best for me now. It's nice to know I bought right there and took 5 points, isn't it? So I suppose the quote of today was, while I was busy with the Antichrist, I may have missed an opportunity. Isn't there a song from a British band? Someone from England, can you please help me? And you have to be of a certain age. I.e., you probably need to have a few grey hairs around the temples. But wasn't there a band singing, I am the Antichrist? I'm thinking Sex Pistols. Okay, I'm going to type that in. Song. I am the Antichrist. I am the no, no. Yeah, people are saying it's the Sex Pistols. It is. Oh, Public Image Limited. Ah, Sex Pistols. Anarchy in the UK. See? You know who you can... Oh, someone says it's Johnny Rotten. Thanks. Oh, God, I am bringing profound wisdom to the global airwaves. It's a gentleman called Johnny Rotten from the Sex Pistols. There you go. We're all a little wiser now. Now, here we go. Let me sing it for you. I am an antichrist. Jesus. Please don't sing, Tom. Get Karaoke Andy to do that. Anyway. I quite like to be a buyer of the Dow below 13. Of course, that's me betting that the school run is actually going to continue higher. So let's look at the 5-minute chart and see what we can make of that. Probably not trade a half again. Let's actually do proper size. Okay, so I'm looking out for 378. It's about 10 points lower. Stand by. It may not happen. I do have a special message to those of you who are attending the Al Brooks Price Action Symposium in Florida in October. I don't know if you have seen this, but if you look at the latest breakdown of what the teachings are on the Saturday when the normal training ends, I have kindly been given permission to the auditorium, and I will be giving an extra 2 to 4 hour class on price action. If you are attending and you are interested in some grunt work, then that's for you. And then we'll let the rest of the sissies go out in the mall and eat their KFC while we will grind away. The speech, the event won't be loaded for the public. It's a paid for event, and I have absolutely nothing to do with it. I just want to point that out. But it is a pricey event. I believe it costs $2,500 to attend. Let me delete that anarchy in the UK post. It's kind of misleading to what we're trying to do here. I didn't get an opportunity to buy below prior bar low in the Dow. Not yet, at least. Yeah. Suppose we can just move stop loss to break even on this thing. So I would like to go through a comment I have on the market. So I'm just going to get rid of. Okay. what you're seeing here is a 15-minute chart of the Dow Jones Index. Over here you have the overnight range. And on the note of the overnight range, this is the overnight range as I have defined it. You are entitled to define it how you see it, but my overnight range is roughly defined as midnight in Europe up until approximately 10, 11 o'clock. As you can see in this example, that seems to encapsulate the trading range fairly well. Then the market opens here. Just before the market opens, we attack the high end of the trading range, and then we clear out whatever liquidity there is below the trading range. Now, this is the point where I would like to take a screenshot so I can demonstrate this in Paint, because I think it's an important lesson to impart to you. And I'm going to do that with some lines. So this is the open. And we'll put open 15 minutes. Yeah. Excuse me. This bar down here is what we call the SRS bar, which is the second 15-minute candle. Okay, now if I then create a line so I can draw, so there you go. The first bar is decidedly negative. This is bar number 1. Then bar number 2 takes place. That's the school run bar. School run bar attempts to push the market below the low of bar number 1. And it succeeds, but only to the point that the market trades back into the range. The trade that I executed down there had nothing to do with school run and had everything to do with how I read 5-minute charts. I separate my trading into 2 categories. There's traditional price action, and then there's situational analysis. The Dow trade that I did execute first was just traditional price action analysis, whilst school run is situational analysis. At this point here, this is the high of the second 15-minute bar, and we close here. So we close right in the middle of this bar. So now there's 2 outcomes. We can trade above, and we can trade below. Let's deal with, if we have traded below, what would I have done? If we had traded below, I would have been very skeptical to sell short, because the NASDAQ was as strong as it was. Whether I would have sold short or not, I don't know. I imagine I would have attempted to just stay true to my training and sold short. Let's deal with what did happen. The Dow traded just above the high of the second. Now, in traditional school run theory, that means we should have been long. And as you remember, I took a tiny position just as a reference point. That was actually not a very smart idea to do, because what I really wanted to do, and I made that intention clear, is that if I had an opportunity to, I would sell short above. Why? Reason number one, this bar here is overtly negative. Reason number two, this too is also negative. Now, if you go through the samples of every single conceivable situation where the Dow trades below the overnight range, the school run bar closes below the overnight range, the school run is negative, the previous bar is negative, you sell short down here, but you also sell short up here. Now, if I had done that, would I have had a profitable trade? Well, that depends greatly on my money management. But you will remember that the most sooner had I bought here, and my tiny position was 50 points underwater. So I would argue that you could indeed have traded this successfully on the short side. The next question we have to ask ourselves is, well, if I had sold short here, which goes contrary to traditional school run theory, where would you have placed your stop loss? And to that end, I would have deployed a calculator, and I would have plotted in 45,400, and I would have divided by 500. That would have given me a 0.2% of the current range of the current price, meaning I would have a stop loss of 90 points. An alternative approach to that would be to measure the length of the overnight range. In this case, the overnight range is 50 points by another 50 points. So about 100, and I don't have the exact number, but I think the overnight range is about 125 points. I would have opted for a stop loss of 90 points. However, now where the Dow is actually not only traded below, but decided to still push higher, on a 15-minute chart, closed above both the post bar number 3 and number 2, it sets in motion a push higher into the trading range, which is where we are right now. I imagine that my position is still open. There we go, and I'm currently plus 60 points on a stupidly small size. And the target would be up here. So that's an example of how you use almost like an if-then function in context of the overnight range, which is what I intend to teach in great detail in Orlando, but also here, although without posting all the enormous sized presentations that I have developed. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I think the time has come for me to say goodbye for today. I hope that you enjoyed the teachings. The FTSE did actually manage to bounce. DAX is probably doing well as well. NASDAQ is sort of struggling a little bit above the double top, and the Dow is doing very well. Overall, started the day at 40,000. Actually, I started the day at £50, and then my deposit went in, as you can see, and since then we've added about 500 or so pounds to it. What should I do with my position? Stop loss to break even. There's a chance that we're going to go up here. We will see where we end up. As always, it is an enormous honor to be the one that is allowed to teach you. And it is a privilege that I take very seriously. Just pause for 1 second. And I'm back. Sorry about that. So, where was I? Yes, something along the lines of blah de blah de blah. Thank you very much for being here. I love you all so very much. You are great. Whatever. Love you. Sex Pistols, Anarchist, Antichrist. No, something along the lines of I am grateful to have an outlet for all the research that I do. I suppose I'm just the kind of person that enjoys sharing, and with that sharing, takes other people along for that ride that I have created for myself. And there's something quite satisfying in doing the research and making the money from the research, but there's something almost equally satisfying, or perhaps the money comes first on the satisfaction scale, but then there's certainly something satisfying in dragging other people with you along the way and hear them getting the benefit of what you have uncovered. And I am grateful for that opportunity. As I say to anybody who wants to listen to it, when I come to the end of days, which is probably closer than when I started out, obviously, time waits for nobody. But I'm eating my broccoli and fasting, and so hopefully I'll live to about 150. But just on the off chance that I don't make it quite to 150, I am grateful for having a sounding board and being able to pass on that knowledge. Because my hope, of course, is that I, in turn, am blessed with experiences through your questions and through your feedback. And together, we will make trading perhaps a little easier than it was before. And we're breaking new ground into the art and craft and science of technical analysis. That's what I'm hoping. Based on no bullshit observation, no bullshit arguments about conspiracy theories and evil market makers and big bad algorithms, but just plain no nonsense. And then let other people believe what they want to believe. At the end of the day, we are all on different trajectories, on different journeys, and we are each responsible to ourselves first and foremost. So with that in mind, with 100 points in profit on the alarmingly small size of, of 50 pence. Do you remember I said, what can I buy for what did I made earlier? I can't remember. I made something ridiculous. Yeah, there we go. In the FTSE earlier this morning, I just got out. What can I buy for 10p? Nothing. So there you have it. Thanks for being here. Take care and see you tomorrow. Bye bye for now.